this episode, we talk about why you should believe everything the church teaches. And what else are we talking about? Oh, reverence and the Bible.
Raise your eyebrows, your eyebrows.
Gotta clap.
Gosh, dude.
Sorry. Wow, sorry.
That'll be a good clip.
Hello, it's Ask Young Church. We're back again. Well, not again, because I messed up and didn't record an episode yesterday. I suck.
Shame.
Shame. I didn't do it. So I'm already failing a little bit on the Lenten challenge, but,
okay.
You know, it's a year of mercy.
That's
it's
true.
a year of mercy. So, what we're going to do, this is actually episode 13. I guess I'm going to have to start doing that. Or wait, this way? 13. This is episode 13. Yesterday would have been episode 12, but I'm going to make it up to you guys. I was going to do like a live Ask Young Church at Young Church, but then I just kept them way too late and I didn't want to keep doing it. Or I didn't want to like keep them way too late. So anyways, I'll make it up to you. I'll do another Ask Young Church and we'll make up that episode somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe we'll do 2 in one day or something special. Anyways, let's get into the show. How you feeling, Jared?
Good.
Feeling good? Yeah.
Monday.
Ready
to roll.
Monday, ready to roll. Monday's good for you.
That's true.
Monday's a good day because you have Tuesday off, so you're like, you come in, work, then off, and then you're back again at the grind.
That's true.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's get into the questions. First one we're going to do is from Philip Bland, who asks, 2 questions, actually.
Check it out.
Whoa, cool. I don't know what you want to do. Philip asks 2 questions. First is, can you dance?
No.
You can't at all?
No.
Even if you tried?
I have rhythm like on the basketball court, but the dance floor is not
You
my
have
rhythm.
so you dance on the basketball court.
Oh, it's jazz.
I call it this. Anyways, I of course I can dance. You saw me at the competition last night at Young Church. I wish I could put in like a clip. I wish I could just go. And then a clip. Maybe I'll make that happen. But last night we did a dance battle. So yeah, of course it is. Second question is, and I thought this was a really good question. What is the best way to explain to a cafeteria Catholic? So we just have to be careful because like labeling Catholics a certain way, but cafeteria Catholic is a term for someone who, I mean, it's not a really nice term, but it's a term for someone who picks and chooses maybe, who says, I'm Catholic, but I don't believe that, I don't believe this. I'm a Catholic who believes X, Y, and Z. So what do you tell someone who's a cafeteria Catholic, which first of all, don't call them that to their face, but how do you explain to them that they should believe everything the church teaches and not just like pick and choose? I thought that was a really, I mean, what do you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah. I mean, I think first and foremost it comes down to authority, right? I mean, it comes down to divine authority and who Christ gave authority to teach. And so whenever Christ said, I give you the power to bind and loose, and what you bind and loose on earth will be bound and loosed in heaven. At that moment, he gave the church authority through St. Peter as his first pope. And so with that means that we can be assured that everything that the church teaches is true. It comes from both revelation and reason. And so even though maybe our own minds may not be able to wrap our reason around these divine revelations that have come, we can be assured of the reality of the truth given by the church. And I think there's actually a lot of comfort in that because you can just fully appreciate and come to, I mean, there's a few things like, for example, the Trinity. That's not something that you can fully understand at all, but we accept it as a truth because the church teaches it because it was revealed to them.
Yeah.
And so there's a comfort in knowing that Holy Mother Church, in her divine and human wisdom, has been able to pass down the faith through the many generations, many centuries, and be assured of the fact that it is truth.
Yeah, like I think we're really familiar with politics and saying, I'm Republican, and then it's like, well, what type of Republican? Well, I'm a Republican who believes blah blah blah. Well, what? You're a conservative or a fiscally conservative Republican, but liberally. And so I think we're really used to being in a group, but being like a distinction among a group. Yeah. But Catholicism or the faith, the Catholic faith, the faith is different in the sense that like latent in the faith is the understanding that you are giving yourself to everything the church believes and teaches and holds to be true that has been revealed by God, right?
Exactly.
So God is revealing all of it.
And much of our American Western sensibilities, we are used to a democratic system to where the opinions matter of others, whereas the church is not a democracy.
Yeah.
Right? It's sort of like a monarchy.
Yeah.
To where we are simply built to follow.
Yeah.
And there's beauty in that. There's freedom in that. That's the nice thing about it, is that ultimately our opinion.
Yeah, and I just thought of this because this is actually a perfect question for today. Today's the feast of the chair of St. Peter, where we give honor to the authority that Jesus gave to Peter, represented in his chair. And so really, I think at the end of the day, you have to ask someone who says, I'm Catholic and I follow Jesus, you really have to ask them, like, do you believe everything that Jesus taught and said? Like, do you believe him? And it's either a yes or a no. It's either a hot or a cold. Like, you're either, if you're lukewarm, like as Jesus says in the Revelation, like, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. So it's either you're for everything Jesus is about, or you're not for him.
And the hard part, too, is I think it's very easy to say that, well, I disagree with that, without actually searching into why the church teaches certain things.
Yeah, so where does doubt, if someone says, look, I want to believe everything, but some of these things I don't understand at all. Like, how do you explain that?
Well, I mean, I think it takes an intellectual assent at that moment. There's two different aspects of that. One is that you need to study up, read about everything that the church teaches, why it teaches, what the history behind that teaching is. But then ultimately, too, where faith comes in.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when it comes to a lot of these truths, faith has a very real aspect of our assent to that truth. And so ultimately, if you're okay with the authority of the church, then you ought to be okay with all of its teachings.
Yeah. So you might not understand it now, but you hope to in the future.
Exactly.
And every other...
I mean, even Dr. Scott Hahn, one of the biggest known Catholics in the world, even after he converted, he said, I still struggle with Mary, but I know the church is right.
Yeah.
And I know the authority of the church is right. And so therefore, I'm okay with whatever it teaches.
Really good question, Philip. Next question is from Preston Bates, who's been on the show before. Had a really good episode where I was like in my neighborhood talking about pride, which was really interesting. Preston asked two questions. The first one I'm gonna kind of ask him for more clarification, so I'm gonna go straight to the second one. He says, I really highly admire the high level of reverence and respect Catholics have for God and the Bible. Can you talk about how you maintain this and increase it as you grow spiritually? So I think he's talking about how do you grow spiritually and also keep growing in your reverence and respect for God and the Bible.
Go ahead, start it off.
And this is a hard question too, because I'm having a little bit of a hard time understanding exactly what he means. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of lost. But my first reaction from this question is like, how do you maintain your reverence for the Bible while also trying to grow spiritually? I don't know. What do you... I don't know. I got nothing.
I would say they're not diametrically opposed to one another, that they kind of actually go together.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you dive deeply into the Bible, the more reverence and the more respect you have for it, because you start to recognize the beauty of it.
And that's where I'm kind of wondering what Preston means. Like, does he see them as competing? Because I do think, like, those should go hand in hand. Like, the more you have reverence and respect for God and the Bible, the more you will grow spiritually.
Yeah.
So maybe the question is, how do you grow that? I think, for one, those two things, like how we act and how we believe, or having right belief and right action, orthodoxy and orthopraxis always go together. Like our deeds and our words always go together. So I think striving really hard to do things that like practice reverence for God and the Bible in our life would be really awesome. Lectio Divina, going to Mass, prayer, those types of things.
I'll never forget whenever I was in grade school, anytime you accidentally dropped a Bible, the nuns always asked, will you kiss it whenever you pick it up? Little small things like that can help you grow so much respect for it. I mean, another thing I try to do is every day I try to kiss the crucifix at some point. There's just those little, like you said, orthopraxis, those little acts that you can do that end up helping you just grow in a reverence and a love for these things. Kind of beyond yourself, it's just a little small thing like kissing it each day. I mean, that helps a lot.
So I think those two things have to kind of be going at the same time. So you could study up in Scripture and study up on what it actually means to have the immensity of God and how that chasm is so vast, and that might increase your faith a little bit, but then it should also increase your actions, right? And at the same time, you could incorporate more actions into your life that represent these beliefs you have of the reverence of God, right? adoration. I was just thinking about this the other day, like that adoration, going to adoration gives us this intense reverence for the Eucharist at Mass. So doing these two things, I mean, I think you just got to do them both at the same time. They're not in competition. Maybe that's the answer.
And one great little quick tip too is like, especially for the Bible within the liturgy, within the Mass, is to read them beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, read them at home, read maybe a commentary on it, and then go to Mass knowing what you're about to read, and then or knowing what you're about to hear, and then hearing it again in the context of liturgy. It just helps it grow even more.
Awesome. Cool. Great questions. Some people are starting to Snapchat me questions, which is amazing. I love that. You can follow me on Snapchat, Edmund Mitchell. Find me somehow. I'm not even sure how. Also, Instagram. People have been sending us, SFA Young Church on Instagram. People have been sending us questions on there, either by direct message or just like tagging us. So hashtag Ask Young Church. Give us more questions. I don't want this to like end. Like, I would rather it end because I failed to record a video than for it to end because we just don't have any more questions. So get your mom or your kids or your dog to submit some questions. It could be on anything too. I wanted to say this. It could be like I would love for Jared to give you some relationship advice, you know, like it could be on anything. It could be, so I mean, just anything that's relevant to you right now. Like, we'll take a stab at it, okay? Yeah, like where should you invest in, you know, mutual funds or something? No, maybe not that. But anything related to the faith or anything else. Ask Young Church, and we'll see you next time. Any other announcements? Do we have another announcements? I think that's it. Good. There you go. Episode 13. I know we had something. Well, Preston, we're going to try to answer the rest of your questions later. And let me know what you think about this lens. Got a new lens on there. See you next time.
All right.